welcome to Jeremy's Retro Bar. I'm Jeremy and this is my Retro Bar. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at one of these machines that I have permanently set up, the IBM 5160, in honor of December. But of course first, we're going to need to make ourselves a drink. So this week's drink is pretty interesting. It is called the Blue Caribbean Hurricane, but Gizmodo got a hold of it and changed it to the Big Blue Caribbean Hurricane. And the reason is, this drink was actually developed by IBM's Watson. So we're gonna see how good a drink is that's made by a computer. So we're gonna start off with 1.5 ounces of coconut milk or cream of coconut. I'm going with cream of coconut because that's what the original IBM recipe called for. Big drink. 3 ounces white rum. 3 ounces banana juice or banana nectar. I was able to find the banana nectar on Amazon easier than I was able to find banana juice. I also love that I'm making a tropical cocktail in the middle of December. 4 ounces pineapple juice. Ooh. 1/2 ounce freshly squeezed lime juice. I'm gonna put some ice in here. Now, as per Gizmodo's suggestion, we're gonna add food coloring to make it blue. I also suggest shaking it before you add lemon lime soda. So here's the problem of not making it ahead of time. This glass is not big enough for this. I actually think this makes 2, so I'm gonna make a second glass. Couple ice cubes, and then top it off. It says about 5 ounces. And there you have it, the Big Blue Caribbean Hurricane. It's not bad, especially for being made up by some AI that IBM made. All right, let's take a look at the IBM 5160. So the reason I decided to go with this computer this week is this computer has a lot of significance in my life as it's the same type as the first computer that I ever had. And also, as far as my life as a collector, this particular system holds a lot of significance. So first off, when I grew up, the first computer that we ever had in our house was an IBM 5150, and my dad had purchased that, I believe it was late 83 or 84. It was green screen, dual floppied, but once I started to actually play it, which I'm sure was toward more the late 80s, probably 87-ish, he had upgraded it to have a 20 meg hard drive, he had upgraded it to a CGA monitor. It wasn't the 5153 monitor, but it was a CGA monitor from a third party. And that was my introduction to computing, and that's what made me fall in love with computing, was that machine. This particular machine is actually a machine that was at my work, my day job. It was in the archives. They had kept it because they had used it to make labels up until, I believe, the mid to late 90s. It was used with a dot matrix printer to make labels for cassette tapes for radio shows. And this machine was in the archive. They were throwing everything in the archive out. I asked for it, and when I got it, it reignited my love of collecting and made me aware of a lot of the innovations that had happened in the collecting realm since I had kind of stopped. So I was pretty significant in collecting computers until about 2007. Then there was a bunch of write-ups about my Mac collection, and the AP got a hold of it, so it kind of just went anywhere that people who use the AP distributes to got that story. And through that, and then just life events and moving and a bunch of things, my collecting kind of took a back seat. And this computer was the first one that I had where I started to rediscover the world of collecting. It's where I discovered a lot of the new innovations that had started to happen. And so I integrated a lot of those into this machine in order to make it more useful. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and take apart this machine, show you what I did to improve upon it, and also show you some of the blemishes that it still has that I haven't improved upon, or thus I don't know how to improve upon. So first thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and turn this guy off, and I'm gonna unplug the monitor and take it and set it aside here. So the monitor that it actually had was the green screen 5151, and I upgraded it to the CGA because if you can maybe see over here, I do have an original 5150 which has the 5151 on it. So kind of keeping that true to its time period, keeping this true to its time period. And so I feel that the XT should have a CGA monitor. Now mine has a chip in the plastic at the top, as you can see here. On one of these cameras, and I don't really have a good fix for it, and this the monitor works really well, so I don't really have a reason to change it. But if anybody knows how I can repair that, I would be very welcome to that information. So I also have this set up with this Craft Premium 3 joystick. I had a Craft joystick like this when I was growing up, so that's why I did that. And then also, just true to the era, I did the original Microsoft green-eyed mouse to go with it, which of course went with Word, and of course an IBM Model F keyboard. And so, okay, so first quirk I'm going to show you, or actually first feature I'm going to show you here is this, and that is, from the front, it looks like a stock IBM PC XT, but this hard drive bay I have set on magnets, and if you actually flip it, you can flip it down, and there is a GoTek drive right there built into the front of the computer. And I did that. That was one of the first things that I became aware of when I got this computer, and I think this was in 2019, so again, I'm a little late to the game, is that the GoTek came out and worked and solved a lot of the problems that were headaches for me collecting in the early 2000s, because this enables you to put disk images on USB sticks and boot from and copy files over. So that was an amazing revelation, and so I put it in here in this kind of stealth setup, and I'll cut to some close-ups so you can see that a little bit better. But yeah, and I still left the hard drive indicator light LED there on the front, and then if I just pop that guy on, it just magnetizes and stays stealth. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pull the rest of this off. The one thing that is very frustrating about these IBM cases is that it has this giant lip around the edge, and so this card slot that I have here for the game port won't let you plug in a joystick, or at least this particular joystick, into the slot, because the top screw doesn't clear this giant bezel that they added. So if anybody, again, knows of a cool solution that I can do to solve this, one thought is to just get a drive slot that doesn't have a parallel port in it, since I'm not using that anyway, and then just move the game port down further. But anyway, that's the current fun that I'm dealing with. So in order to unplug the joystick, I actually have to take this thing apart. But we're going to do that anyway, just to see the cards that we have. Oh, and another thing here is, here I have a XT-IDE card with a CF card adapter to act as the hard drive. So again, that makes working with retro computers so much easier than it used to be. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that off. Okay, so as we can see on this camera, I've got the original floppy 5 1/4 floppy drive, and then I have my XT-IDE popped in here. And then I have these card slots, and I have almost all of them occupied. So we're going to start with the the game port card. So I'm just gonna pull that off and pull this out at the same time, and I can finally unplug the joystick. And we can see here that that's just ribbon cables that go to so that goes to an AST 6-pack Plus. And of course, a lot of people had this real-time clock, expanded memory, extra game port, parallel port, serial port. So, a very nice expansion card. The CGA card. This has the composite as well as the DB9 cable. And here I have an XT-IDE card. I've got these cables running to that aforementioned LED on the front, and of course this ribbon cable runs to the compact flash card adapter that I have here. This is actually the Glitchworks version. I know you can get a lot of different versions of this guy, but that's the Glitchworks version. So we'll go ahead and unplug our LED, and we'll unplug our ribbon cable for right now, and that guy will go there. So that is just, you know, an original floppy controller. It's the one that actually came in this machine, so no changing or upgraded needed there. Card that is currently not being used, but I expect to do something with it in the future. And that's just a modem. This one's from ATI. And I can't remember, let's see, what does it say? It's from 1988. Yeah, it's a 2400 baud ATI modem, because I guess ATI used to make modems. So compact flash IDE adapter, and of course the full-size Molex to this size cable adapter. And that's it. I have not put a math coprocessor in it. It says 64 to 256 kilobyte system board, and it's fully populated there. So I believe this is a 256 kilobyte motherboard, and then with the RAM pack, it brings me up to a 640K. So we can see everything that I did to this guy. The power supply I had to replace, so that was the first thing that I did have to replace in it. Original motherboard, original case. The hard drive that it came with, I still have. I have it in storage in a box, and it was still working whenever I got it. The main issue was the power supply. So I found a new old stock power supply and replaced that. And so, yeah. So anyway, here's the my XT machine, which I really like because it plays all the games and all the software that I had when I first started using a computer. And so go ahead and put everything back together, and we're gonna fire this up and play a couple games on it. So the Glitchworks XT-IDE is a very cool card if you're not familiar with it, if you're brand new to retro computing. It's an 8-bit ISA card slot that allows you to use IDE drives on these vintage machines. The hard drives that it used to use were called RLL or MFM hard drives, and they are kind of more of a big floppy style format, and IDE was a more advanced format. This has its own BIOS chip on it that allows it to to recognize and boot from whatever IDE card or IDE hard drive device that we want to boot from. And so the easiest is just to do these compact flash adapters, but you could do a regular full-size IDE hard drive if you wanted to. Of course, you're limited by the operating system. This machine I have DOS 3.3 on, PC DOS 3.3, and yeah, but anyway, that is a really cool device. Screw these guys back in. For IBM cases, I always use the hex nuts. Flathead screwdrivers are the worst. Exterior screws are a 1/4 inch hex, and the interior screws are all I think it's a 5 mil. Yeah, the 5 millimeter for the inside. All right, so that's a tour of my IBM PC XT. We're gonna go plug it back in over in its spot and play some games. So let's do that. Now that we have this guy back together, I'm just going to take a look at some of my favorite games that I remember from this era. So, of course, first it's going to be Alley Cat. I don't remember how we had this game, if it was a pirated thing or if it was a just something that came with the computer. But I loved it, I was terrible at it, and you'll see me be terrible at it again. And we'll use a joystick and we'll do House Cat, and let's play. Already off to a great start. Yeah. Oops. All right. Okay. Didn't quite finish it. So the other main game that I remember playing is Q*bert for the PC. And let's change this to use the joystick as well. So we've got players 1, color, joystick, sound on. Oh. Oh. Snake. Game over. One player. We'll try joystick again. Yeah, okay, I can shoot. Oh. Oh, man. All right, so that's a tour of my IBM 5160 restoration. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, let me know. Maybe I can do something on the Microsoft mouse. Maybe I can do something on running Windows on this guy. You know, whatever you guys want to see, let me know if you have any ideas. I plan on doing, showing more restorations that I've done in the future, and then also doing some new restorations. So if that's something that you would like to see, of course, let me know. If you have specific machines that you want to see, let me know. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.